raining quite heavily here in Rome, with Revo home driver starting on pole from Lars Leclerc and Remy LeBeau. Then it's Ocampo. Pierre Gasly outqualifies teammate. Then it's championship leader Catfish, Marcus Nelson, and Cable in 8th. Daf Sanchez is 9th from the Red Devil and Oscar Folstad. Then Ray Shen in 12th, Ica World in 13th, Tenali Gabo home driver alongside a fellow home driver in Zach Wallace, then Babness Jr. in 16th, Bogdasarov and teammate Pablo Sierra share that road, then Xavier Kubica, Scadlin Rossack, teammate Cosmas Medicis, and Vestio. Well then, conditions here in Italy are positively dripping as Revo, the home man, starts on pole. All 5 laps have gone on, and we are underway in Rome. Revo's title challenge continues, and as he gets a pretty good start off the line, Leclerc alongside him, probably with a better start, and he's going to have the inside line into this heavy braking point, the first chicane. Here they come now. Yellow's already. Bogdasarov's up and spinning in a straight line. He's facing backwards, coming down into turn number 1. Stadlin Rossack getting a 5-second time penalty. Leclerc has taken the lead and is over a second ahead of Revo, but for Daniel Bogdasarov, he's still facing backwards. He's only now righted his car, and he's got massive front wing damage. That's effectively his day over. Remy LeBeau dropped to 4th. Ica World getting a 5-second time penalty, not for track limits, however. Catfish not with the best start. Gabo got a brilliant start. He's up into the points for a man who will be leaving the ERL after he himself has admitted he's not quick anymore. He's still going to be able to put on a brilliant show for his home fans. On board we go with the 29ers. Gasly further ahead. Track limits warning for the man currently in 5th position. Scadlin Rossack with a track limits warning as well. In terms of the championship, the current outlook, if it finishes like this, is that we've got a 3-way battle between Leclerc, Revo, and Catfish. And honestly, 3-way battles for the championship are brilliant. However, the last time we really saw that was season 20. That didn't end too well. That really did not end too well. Lap 2 of 13. As it is absolutely dripping around here. There's no other real adjective for it. Xavier Kubica, time penalty, causing a collision. He's down in 17th, so points for him or his teammate, not too likely either way. Fastest first sector, and out of the race goes Lars Leclerc. Oh, spin for Revo as well! Ocampo takes the lead, and Revo's got front wing damage at home. Gasly goes through, Remy LeBeau went through. Front wing damage on the 2nd lap. And that's absolutely shocking. What an incident to take place down there at the Variante della Roggia. Full course yellows are ending. We get back underway in a supremely wet race here, with Catfish on the back of his main championship rival. Gabo getting a track limits warning as well. But Revo right now, today, could not have gone any worse so far. If he pits at the end of this lap, he's going to drop outside of the points. He's going to drop way down the order. In fact, Catfish with the inside line coming through the Parabolica turn, and Revo staying out. He's going to try and stick it out with how little grip he has. As his main championship rival, he's about to breeze past him, heading down into the first chicane. And he's not past him, in fact. Catfish having to slot behind. Sanchez behind him, getting a time penalty for causing a collision. There goes Catfish coming through Curva Grande as Cable goes past with Ray Shen. And Revo's got no pace in his car. He's got no pace, he's got no confidence, and into the wall goes Cable. Oh, massive incident! Big one in Rome, and it looked like Catfish might have actually started that, if not him, then Ray Shen. That was a big incident. Nelson's got damage too. Whoever's caused that has absolutely killed the Tachita's race, and I do believe firmly that was on Catfish. Catfish might have caused that incident, and in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if more drivers came into the pits at the end of this lap for front wing damage. That's helping Gabo, however, move through the field and into the points. He's up in 8th currently. He's looking to try and salvage something, anything, from a truly torrid season he's having so far. Ocampo, however, leading. Catfish setting a fastest lap on 1:16.433. My goodness me, for Techeetah, this is Groundhog Day. This is going to be Groundhog Day for them. That's all I can really say. Okay, yeah, I guess they're standing on the track. The Red Devil getting a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. And you can see the champ is out of the race goes Daf Sanchez. It's going to say you can see... Oh, no! He's upside down. Ooh, full course yellow. He's up on the roll hoop, so he should be fine. If you watch IndyCar in real life, you'll know that first race of the 2011 season in St. Petersburg, Marco Andretti, he flipped going through turn number 1, and he rested on the roll hoop of that car, and he was able to crawl out. These cars aren't actually too dissimilar from the IR05s from IndyCar. My goodness, take a look at the gap between 4th and 5th for a second. It's 10, 11-ish seconds. That's insane. Shen's having to defend it into the wall. Goes Gabo. Slide job. Slide job for Denali Gabo. He's got front wing damage as well. This is going to be one of the most destructive ERL races, if not the most destructive ERL race of the season. I say that knowing full well what happened in mid-Ohio, as Sierra takes 5th from him and Revo up into 7th. I can't even keep up with who's making what move. Off, out of the race, Bogdasarov. And that's at the De La Roja chicane, where Leclerc went out and the first real moment of chaos happened earlier on. So many drivers with front wing damage aren't actually coming into the pits to repair it, which is, I think, the most surprising part, because in these conditions they can be losing so much. Like, look at UKable's front wing. There's no way that they're getting enough downforce generated. It's gonna be a very terrible afternoon for a lot of these drivers right now. But Ocampo still leads from Remy Lebeau and Pierre Gasly, but the Philippine man in the 76 getting a track limits warning. Catfish on the back of Pierre Gasly, Remy Lebeau on the back of Sebastian Ocampo. And at the start of the season I said this, and I'll say it again as we're nearing the season's closure. Look at that helmet car combination. Tell me that's not perfect. 7 laps to go. And Remy, if it was dry, he would have attack mode, but all he can really use is attack charge right now. Revo is holding 7th, and that's, I'm pretty sure, all that the Techeetah team want him to do. Just hold down 7th position. Make sure that no one can take it from him. Babinis Jr. gets passed by UKable heading through the opening chicane, and he's now on the back of Revo as the race leaders make their way through the De La Roja chicane. Close to the wall, off into the wall is Catfish, championship leader with front wing damage. We saw weaving from the top 3, none of them hit the wall. Gasly hit the wall, sorry, so that's both Power and both Sims drivers with front wing damage, and almost a wall for Babinis Jr. off into the wall as well. That's one of the Nissans. I think that's Scadolin Rosak, who has a 5-second time penalty to double that, and Marcus Nelson, he somehow dropped to the back of the pack. Cosmas Medicis today, I have to say, that's disappointing. He got a 5-second time penalty for colliding with his teammate. I was going to say he has a good chance of scoring points today. He's the only man yet to score any. Not after that one. That's disappointing. I'm ashamed of him, to be honest with you. That's kind of sad. 6 to go. Ocampo leads, but for how much longer? Here comes the Frenchman in the 27 for Kiro Porsche, and he's hit him! He's hit the side of the Andretti for the man who's trying to take Gabo's seat at Sims. That's certainly not going to impress his potential future employers. At least he doesn't have any damage, which is more than what I can say for some other drivers in this race. Almost a wall for Ocampo. Medicis getting a 5-second time penalty as well. Gasly heads through the chicane. He's having to be a lot more cautious. And into the wall goes Pablo Sierra. Out of the race goes Catfish. That's a championship leader out on lap 7. Pablo Sierra continues his reign over 4th. He's got tons of front wing damage. But my oh my, full course yellow on lap 7 of 13. We've gone past half race distance. We've had 4 retirements, but all of them have been heavy hitters. 2 of them championship contenders. To the point where the man who entered this race second in the championship for his home race, he might be disappointed finishing 6th, but if I'm him, I just need to finish top 10. And if I want to take the championship lead, then I got to finish top 8 as they come through that part of the track in the 3rd sector. Although still in 6th, he could try and go for 4th here. I think the game to play is one of being cautious. Pierre Gasly comes into the pits. Is that new front wing going on? What tires are those? Those are mediums. So Power Motorsport thinking it's going to get drier. Same with Revo. However, we have seen in London, I believe, that it should be smarter to stay out on into compound tires, but no! Into the wall go the top 2! Both with front wing damage. Remy LeBeau with that 5-second time penalty. Here's what I know about that. He's not going to come out in 2nd. I can tell you that much. UK Ball up into 3rd position, also with a time penalty. And also with front wing damage as they head through the chicane. He's into the wall! Also with IBJ. Zach Wallace up into 4th. Xavier Kubica to P5. And that's Marcus Nelson, not Revo. Out of the race has gone UK Ball. Scuttle and Rossack also hit him. Another full course yellow in this race that has been littered with safety car incidents in what would be any other Monoposto League, but in this, the ERL Formula E Series, full course yellows, because we can clear them up quicker than anyone else. We get back underway. I don't know if some of these drivers really want to get back underway in this race. It seems really freaking hectic. The drivers taking that a lot more cautiously. In come the race leaders. Zach Wallace at home, up into 3rd position. And he's got no damage at all or time penalties. He's been one of the cleanest, if not the single cleanest driver in these conditions. And he's been rewarded with on track a P3. And it's the rest of the guys who haven't pitted now come in. I don't think Pierre Gasly is going to be leading. Ocampo will lead. Will Remy LeBeau still be 2nd? He will. And he did lose about 2 seconds in the pits due to that penalty. Gasly is 3rd. Wallace will come out of the pits, racing Pablo Sierra on exit. He will be 5th place with Shen, Falstad, and Revo coming out. For Wallace, 5th would be a good finish. For Revo, he came into this race 4 points down. Here comes his countryman Tonelli Gabo to get past him. Not quite able to do so. You got to keep it on the track for the overtake to count. And unfortunately he didn't. And Gasly going very deep there. There's still some water on the track. Off goes Sierra. Track limits warning and front wing damage for the Renault driver from Spain. And he's feeling Spain without the A. And Revo's got a time penalty. 5-second penalty. Scuttle and Rossack. He's into the wall. That's Iker Walls. Also into the wall. Cosmos rather got the time penalty and has damage. Rossack just went by. And there's still certainly some of the wet stuff down there. This man is having an absolutely torrid home race. In terms of the championship, Ocampo has been a sleeper agent in the drivers, but I don't think he's going to be able to gain too much out of this. Rossack getting a 3rd track limits warning. One more of those. It's a time penalty. Sierra comes in already. Again, under 50% and also front wing damage. So there's not too much you would have expected otherwise. Attack mode wide open for Theo, who's closing in on Revo. And honestly, I keep thinking in my head about something that Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think, said, as into the wall. That's Wallace and IBJ. His teammate comes up to the back of this. Full course yellows didn't come out because there was no retirement, but that was a big shunt down at that chicane. And it's really hard to keep it out of the wall down here. As Gasly, third track limits warning. Another one is a time penalty. Sierra comes through the chicane with 2 laps to go. And this race is absolutely shocking. There's no other real word for it. Xavier Kubica, Tonali Gabo, 5-second time penalty for track limits as he gets past Revo. You can see the entire field gunning for the Italian's head. Fastest third sector goes to Pierre Gasly. Sierra fastest second, and a 5-second time penalty is imminent for the Spaniard. So he's got himself a third track limits warning. And into the wall goes race leader Sebastian Ocampo. Third track limits warning for the Philippine driver. Remy Lebeau heading down and through the chicane. Might have an opportunity to win this race as his teammate gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. This race is hectic as Gasly hits the wall. 5-second time penalty for track limits. As he hits it, it's not going to do too much to him. But that's certainly... Oh no, Wallace has front wing damage. Ocampo, 5-second time penalty for track limits into the wall. That's Gabo at his home race. And Ray Shen as well. So many drivers getting dinged up for incidents. You can see this entire timing tower is littered with time penalties. So you're going to want to stay around for the end of this to see the official finishing order as Ocampo on lap 12 starts this new lap as Medeiros gets passed by Pablo Sierra. He's going to get pushed. He's going to get attack mode and attack charge here. And he's into the wall! Forced into the wall by, I believe, his teammate. 10-second time penalty for the Greek driver. And yes, it was by his own teammates. That is bullying. That's bullying from Scudderlin Rossack, to be honest. As, oh my goodness, that's heavy tire wear on the softs. You're kidding me. In a race like this, into the wall goes Remy Lebeau. Third track limits warning. But he should be good to the end of this race. He should be. If he gets another one, that's going to be a big problem. Big problem as well. Nelson with a 10-second time penalty. A lot of weaving from the Red Devil here. Nelson's gunning for points. Sierra, 5-second time penalty. Yellows in the second sector for Zach Wallace once more. He's hit the wall once again. It's been an absolute demolition derby here in Italy. And into the wall goes Revo and the Red Devil and Tonali Gabo. So many drivers having issues down at this specific chicane. Into the wall goes Sierra, and my goodness, track limits penalty for Sierra. That's 5 seconds onto the other one. 10 as we're on to the final lap. Scudderlin Rossack went off with the Red Devil and Ray Shen. For this man, he's got a bent out of shape front wing. Xavier Kubica's got a second track limits warning. This race has been absolutely insane. There's no other word for it. And I can't even say something like Ocampo has weathered the storm because he's been in the storm. He has been part of it. As he heads through the Variante della Roccia, he's at the wall. Ocampo makes the barriers. Remy Lebeau is coming into this part of the track. He comes through the chicane and hits the wall as well. 5-second time penalty for the Frenchman. But if he can get away from Ocampo before he comes through, Ocampo is out. Full course yellow. Remy Lebeau's gonna do it! He's gonna have his countrymen on the podium! Zach Wallace is gonna finish his home race on the podium and get the first one of the season for him! This race is insanity! And on the last lap, it'll be the only one that Remy's gonna lead. We're gonna swap to him very quickly, but the carnage in the midfield is never ending. And we've already got more. That's Revo off into the wall facing the wrong direction. He's into the barriers as well. But for a man who's been in the barriers multiple times, it'll be victory in Rome by the skin of his teeth. Remy Lebeau takes victory in Rome in front of Pierre Gasly and a whole cavalcade of other drivers who have faced issues. Scudderlin Rossack and the Red Devil both with torrential front wing damage. As Cosmas Medeiros comes through, Gasly will finish behind his countryman. But for Zach Wallace, this will mean a lot more for him It'll be a podium at his home race. Babinus Jr. fourth from Marcus Nelson and Xavier Kubica on the road, of course. That's what I'm reading out. Falstad seventh from Theo and Gabo. Then it's Pablo Sierra Revo, who at his home race had the opportunity of a lifetime to take the championship lead, but he will not be able to do that. I don't think he'll get points. Cosmas has gone off into the wall. Oh, this race has just been wild, man. That was wild. And I'm sure that Remy is just going to be glad that he was able to finish at all, let alone win. And for Ocampo, what a missed opportunity to get himself into the title fight, crashing out on the last lap. As we got a drag race to the line between Iker and Shen, over a minute behind the race lead. That is how insane this has been. We had 16 finishes today. They're lucky that this isn't race 18, this is race 17 in Rome. Don't know what comes after this, to be honest with you. That's how insane this series is. And if this is your first race, hi. It gets better than this, I promise. This isn't the peak of the ERL, I'm sure of it. If you like crashes, if you like good racing, if you like drama, you'll find all of that here as we watch Cosmas Medices come across the line. And this is the podium. Somehow Remy Lebozic absolutely jubilant with that result. I'd expect him to be a lot more exhausted with Pierre Gasly alongside him on the podium. The two Frenchmen on 1 and 2 on the podium. And Zach Wallace completing the podium of the European drivers. And out of the 3 Italians who not just participated but finished in this race, it'd be fitting for the one who's raced in the least races to be the one to be on the podium in the most extreme. Then it's Babinus Jr. versus Theo, Xavier Kubica and Oscar Falstad from Marcus Nelson, Denali Gabo, and somehow Revo scraped a single point. Then it's Pablo Sierra, Iker World, Ray Shem, the Red Devil, Scadolin Rossack, and Cosmas Medices, with the non-finishers being Ocampo, Ukable, Catfish, Bogdasarov, Sanchez, and Leclerc. In the driver's standings, Catfish leads 3 points in front of Revo now. Then it's Nolas Leclerc, Marcus Nelson, Daniel Bogdasarov, Sebastian Ocampo, Daf Sanchez, and Remy Lebow from Pierre Gasly, Iker World, Babinus Jr., Ray Shen versus Theo, and Xavier Kubica. Zach Wallace with that podium moves himself up into 15th. The Red Devil is 16th from Falstad and Ukable. Then it's Sierra, Denali Gabo, Scadolin Rossack, and somehow, even after a race this crazy, Cosmas Medices has failed to score a single point. In the constructors' standings, heading into the 18th round of the season, oh look at that, we're heading to Buenos Aires, Remy Lebo's favourite track. DS Techeetah lead the way from Trackhouse Mercedes and DS Andretti. Then it's Sims Porsche, Team Edams Renault, Kero Porsche, and DS Venturi Formula E team. Mercedes EQ is 8th from Power Renault and McLaren Mercedes. Then it's Nissan Nismo on 12 points, and the only team yet to even make 50, let alone the 100 that everyone's got. But we'll see you guys next time then when the ERL returns for the IndyCar series.